Hi everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Yep, same makeup. This probably is the last video intro you'll see with this makeup because I haven't made any more projects. So I mentioned in yesterday's video, and yesterday's video's question of the day was, which stamp set did you think I would use first? I have to go back and see who was right. But in today's video, I am using this adorable image from this Doodlebug and Simon Says Stamp collaboration. I bought this stamp set for this stamp. Like seriously, for this stamp. And today we're doing some paper piecing. So let's head over to the craft table to get started. Don't forget to listen for the question of the day and the word of the day. So yeah, let's go get crafting. We are paper piecing today, y'all. So I am using a mixture of the Doodlebug Night Before Christmas, which is this year's collection, and the Doodlebug Christmas Magic, which was last year's collection. And I knew I wanted to use a pattern paper for the chair and for the rug. And so initially I thought maybe the stripe, then I thought the plaid, and then I decided that I didn't want anything that was going to be too busy or that would take away from the characters. So I decided on this green plaid, and then this red has a faint polka dot. So when I talk about choosing 3 different papers, these would act as either a neutral, not necessarily like a neutral in color, but a neutral in pattern, because the pattern's so faint, they look like a plain piece of paper. So this is going to allow us to have a bigger pattern for our biggest and then a mid pattern for the middle. And I'll show you once we get to the assembly of the card, the papers that I choose. So I'm just scooting this over so I don't waste a bunch of paper because I don't want to. I love this paper. And here I was thinking that I needed to move that one way, but I ended up moving it this way so the paper hung out at the bottom. This is why I love Stamparatus. Thank you for everyone who has commented on the last tool video that I posted up last week sometime. A lot of you shared some really great options for stamp positioners, so I really appreciate that. Okay, so I like to bring in Copics to add dimension to the paper piecing. That way it doesn't just look like a flat image. So I believe I decided on YG01 and YG23. I apologize, I didn't write the markers down, and I think I made this card on Thursday. So I honestly don't remember, and I apologize for that. But again, it's going to really depend on which pattern paper you choose to use. And again, if you don't have the hex chart from Sandy Allnock, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I know she has one for like colored Prismacolor pencils and maybe Faber-Castell. I don't know. She's got several of them, but I just have the one for the Copics. So for the reds, I believe I used 46, 35, and 27. You can see I'm adding a darkness underneath the chair because there would be a shadow there. And then I'm using 27 to go around the ring or the rim or the edge of the rug. And once I've done that, I'm going to bring my scissors in and cut it all out. I am going to cut around the images because they're not going to be part of the designer series paper or the pattern paper because I'm going to color them with my Copics. So I am coloring the kitty with some grays, and I think I have C4 all the way to C0, and I'm just flicking the color in. I wanted to leave this baby's face white, kind of like Roxy, although Roxy is definitely a warmer gray. I wanted to do the mouse in a warm gray and the kitty cat in a cool gray to give us a little bit of contrast. So the Doodlebug illustrator didn't leave us a spot for the inside of the ear, so I just kind of colored it that way. That way I could add a little bit of pink, and I use R20 for that when I add in a little bit of pink. And I start light, and then I end up bringing in a darker color to darken it up because I really wanted the shadows to be kind of dark because to me this would be at nighttime, and maybe even the Christmas tree would be lit up, but there wouldn't be really any more light. But I didn't want to fuss with adding yellow to them. So I didn't give a whole lot of thought to light source, but I did know I wanted to add those shadows in. So I was coloring the mouse with W1 and W2, and my W1 marker just kind of spit out a ton of ink. So I brought in W0 to kind of help clean it up a little bit, and it did a little bit, but I don't know why it did that. I've never had a marker do that before. Maybe I just pressed down too hard. I don't know. So it was Misty, W1, W2, W0 for the little bitty mouse, and then the colorless blender. For the puppy, it's E29, E37, 35, and 21. Again, just adding a little bit of shading. I wanted a little brown puppy, so the top of his ear would be darkest, and then I worked my way down to the lightest. Isn't he so cute? I love Doodlebug. If I had to pick 3 stamp companies and only 3 stamp companies to buy from the rest of my life, it would probably be Doodlebug, Hello Bluebird, and Papery Ink. I'm telling you, I love their little critters. They're so cute. But I'm glad we live in a world where there are so many options, because I love Anthony's. Speaking of Anthony's, he's having free shipping in the US until the 31st, I believe. And so make sure you go check that out. There's just so many great craft companies out there, and I just love all the different images and stuff. So, yes. So again, I'm just adding some deeper shadows on the puppy, and then I think that's E50 that I used to blend it out. So I brought in my liquid glue, and I used a scrap piece of paper to get it out, because that's the only thing I hate about this glue is it's notorious for clogging. And I always have to kind of work to get it out. So I pasted this so the paper is on top of the animals, meaning the animals are in the back, the paper is laying on top of it. If you wanted to do this a different way, you could cut out the animals, paper piece the chair and the rug, and then put the animals on top of it. I chose not to do it that way. So here you see, this is where I brought in YG23. I really want to deepen up those shadows, and I really, really love the dimension I was able to get on this couch. I don't know that you can see a lot of it in the end card. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, I really, really love it. So my question of the day is, have you sent out all of your holiday cards? Don't forget, you have to answer the question of the day on every single video in order to be qualified for the grand prize. And then every single video, all 12 videos will have its own giveaway as well. So here I brought in R59 to make that shadow underneath the puppy and the chair even deeper. And then 35 to blend that out. So then I'm going to bring in my scissors. Oh, this is the trick I think I told you guys about the last time I colored. If you mess up a line, just bring in a dark pen and go over it. That's what I did. So this is where I decided I wanted to cut this out. So I'm going to cut around it, and then I'm going to bring in my black marker and go around the white. This is this Stampin' Right marker from Stampin' Up, but any brush tip marker will do. Okay, so choosing pattern paper. So I have the red and the green, which are counting as my neutral or my small pattern. The polka dot is counting as my medium pattern. Then the stripe is my large pattern. Now the stripes aren't large, but it's a very bold, very bright pattern. So when you're choosing pattern paper, and like I said, I will completely do a video on this come the new year, you want to stick to the 3. So you want one that is neutral or looks like it's a solid color. You want one that can be your medium, which would be, and then you want a large. So we'll be working more on that as the days come. So for a sentiment, I decided to bring in that other stamp I bought from Simon Says Stamp. Was this the big scripty Christmas greetings? I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. But I brought in some Gina K Designs green apple maybe to stamp that. I love this font. Like, I'm obsessed. Obsessed. I've already used this stamp set twice in this series. You may see it more than that. So I'm going to adhere the paper to the front. I've left everything 1/8 of an inch on the outside. Well, I guess it's just that pad. That's 1/8, or pattern that's 1/8 of an inch. For the polka dot, I'm bringing in the Scotch mounting foam because I didn't want to use 1,000 little pop dots. And then I'm going to use whatever is left on the back of this image. And then I'm going to bring in some dimensionals to round it out. So I'm bringing in the larger ones, and then I also bring in some small ones. Then we're going to get this adhered to the card. So I'm going to start, of course, with the oval. I believe this is a stitched scallop oval stack from My Favorite Things. Don't quote me, but any oval scallop die would do you. So this is where I realized that I left a little bit of the side white, and I want to make sure that I got all of it black. And then I noticed that some of my adhesive was poking out. So I made sure to get that down. And then this is a strip from the border paper in the paper pad. And it says "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So initially I thought I would just leave it, but I ended up cutting it down to where it's just this red in the screen. And then I adhered it to the same cardstock as the card base, and then now I'm adding it to the card. So this is going to go across the bottom of the oval. So the oval, the part that hits the oval, needs to have regular adhesive, and the other sides, the ends, need to have dimensional adhesive because it's going to be hanging off. So I have one spot that I need to fix with a little bit of glue, and I'm using a pencil eraser and then this pokey tool from Tim Holtz, because I have misplaced my glue eraser, my adhesive eraser. I can't find it. So this helped. So I'm going to bring in these lime green drops from Nuvo. These worked out perfectly. My only issue was they stayed peaked. I thought they would, what's the word I'm looking for? Flatten out, but they didn't. So it looks, I mean, it's cute. It's still a cute card, but yeah. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of shimmer just on the sentiment. I didn't want to add any shimmer to the image. And that's it, guys. That is day 3 of the 12 days of Elfmas. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow for another project. Bye for now.